Hello, beautiful people. My name is Morgan Downey. I am the CEO and co-founder of Get Mo Fit, a health and life coaching business that aims to help single women break free from insecurity, heal from unresolved pain, and just transform unhealthy habits so that they can thrive spiritually, mentally, and physically. And today we are continuing the single season blueprint. So if you're watching this, if you're a single woman and you've ever struggled with expressing your emotions, maybe you've been hurt in the past and you don't necessarily trust people, or you have a fear of being vulnerable, especially with men, and you just need like some help just regulating your emotions, expressing them in a better way, this video is for you. I'm going to be sharing 2 habits that I kind of got in the routine of doing that have really helped me when I was single, and I'm seeing the benefits now while I'm married. So I'm not to say that this is just, the end all be all and you're just going to be perfect, because I'm definitely not, but these 2 habits will really help you just express your emotions in a way where you can understand, and it'll help you or your future partner or your friends, whoever, understand you as well. All right, so let's get into it. Habit number 1, practice expressing your emotions when you're alone. So one of the ways I began to do this while I was single was I'm now a journaler, but I started it while I was single, and I would just journal just what I was feeling, what I was thinking. Journaling is not just meant to be, dear diary, today happened. Like, journaling is an opportunity for you to ask yourself specific questions about whatever's going on in your life so that you can get to the bottom of it. So for example, if I get really upset about something, I'm very angry, right? If I'm really angry, I need to understand what's wrong. Like, what really, like, underneath the surface level, what really bothered me about something. So this is something that I began to get into the habit of doing just so I could get it off my mind. Like, sometimes, we'll have so many different things in our head that it feels overwhelming, but when you write it down, it's a way of releasing that energy, that emotion that you're feeling. So one moment in time where journaling really came through for me was back in 2019. I had just graduated from college and my mom had recently passed away, and I went on a graduation trip to Mexico. And I will never forget, I was sitting by the pool. My friends and I rented this Airbnb, and I was sitting outside, just like had my journal open. And I was just like brain dumping just everything that was on my mind. Like, that was a crazy time in my life. And I was writing about just how I felt moving forward, like post grad, and just how I felt emotionally. I didn't feel confident going into law. Like, originally I had planned to go to law school. I was going to be a lawyer. I was going to take a gap year and then apply to law school. And emotionally, I was in shambles. And I didn't think that was the best move for me to make. So in that season, in that specific day, I wrote about that, and I really was honest with myself. Like, you know what, girl? I don't think this is the route. Like, the way I'm feeling, the way I can't focus when I have work to do, all of these things were just contributing to like the ultimate decision that I made of not pursuing law like I had planned to for the past 4 years. And what led to that was another super long journaling session where I literally wrote out a whole letter to my dad expressing why I was not continue on the path to law and what I was going to do instead, and just expressing why I needed to make this decision. And we actually ended up going to a therapy session together, and I read him the journal entry. And, even though he didn't take it very well, the fact that I wrote it out and was able to express myself, like, that was a key moment for me, so that I wasn't in there just like rambling and not being clear, because it was clear what I said. He might not have liked it, but it was clear. So I encourage my single ladies out there to just take the time to like write to yourself. Ask yourself specific questions so that you can understand how you're feeling about, if the time the dude 3 years ago did you wrong, does that still bother you? Be honest, be honest. Does that still bother you? Do you still have some residue from that? Do you feel like, nobody better not ask me or say anything like he said, years ago, or I'm gonna feel like it's the same situation? Like, be honest about where you are, how you're feeling, because there are so many different emotions that we feel on a day-to-day basis that if they go unaddressed, especially for long periods of time, that can not only contribute to our just overall stress, but it won't create a habit of you being expressive to your partner in the future, which is important in a healthy relationship. So now, fast forward, I'm married. I got married in 2023, and I've noticed how my continued habit of journaling has really helped me in my marriage. It helps me do exactly that, express myself. And sometimes times where I don't know what to say, like I genuinely might, be feeling something and I struggle putting it into words. So I might not put it into words right away because sometimes I don't want to say the wrong thing. Or if I just genuinely don't know what's wrong, sometimes you gotta take a minute, you gotta think, and that has really helped me throughout this year and some change of being married. Like, I've just started to notice like these types of habits being really beneficial, even in times when we are going to have a tough conversation, or I know a tough conversation is coming. I can come with my thoughts already like fleshed out. So I'm not just sitting there like, I don't know. Or sweeping things under the rug, because that doesn't create or foster a healthy environment or a healthy relationship either. I want to be able to address things head on with my husband, and I want him to be able to address things head on as well. So just getting into the habit now while you're single, so that in the future, it'll just be like clockwork. It doesn't mean that it'll ever be just comfortable, because emotions can be uncomfortable, but it will help you to just do it and do it consistently. Last thing about journaling, because marriage and life in general is a learning process. And when you're married, you're constantly learning your partner. But when you're single, you're constantly learning yourself. So the more you learn about yourself while you're single through expressing your emotions, the more it'll be easier to communicate that to your partner. And then as you go along, it'll be easier to communicate as you change, because you won't stay the same over the years. All right, let's get into habit number 2. So habit number 2 is share your emotions with a trusted individual. This could be a friend, this could be a mentor, this could be a therapist, but getting into the habit of having a safe place, a safe person, someone who you can truly be yourself and be vulnerable with, that you can go to and express yourself further. So sometimes it's important to take it beyond the journaling page, okay? Sometimes, and oftentimes, honestly, it's better to share your emotions in community. There's a Bible scripture that says iron sharpens iron. Like, we are here to sharpen each other. God wants us to be in good community so that we can help each other. It's not good to suffer in silence. It's not good to hold everything in. And yes, journaling is a form of releasing. However, when we get into community and we're sharing our thoughts, we're sharing our ideas, we're sharing our feelings, it can help bring other perspectives. It can help bring clarity. It can help bring awareness of certain things when it's constantly being filtered through community. So one way I began to do this while I was single was I got a therapist, and I still go to the same therapist, and now my husband and I go to the same therapist. But I have been with my therapist, Marie, for I want to say since 2020. I began when I was just like really trying to forgive my dad. And having a therapist, having someone that can walk with you as you go through life and help you, guide you, give you things to think about, give you exercises to do, like really, really helps you just navigate life. So one thing I often hear people talk about is just the price or the cost of therapy. And I know that therapy can definitely be expensive. So one way that I approached that was, literally for years, I would only go to therapy once a month. And although, yes, sometimes, like, especially in the beginning, you may need it more than that, but it's better to be consistent for a long period of time than, do a bunch of sessions back to back to back, and then you just stop. So I've been going once a month for a very, very long time at this point. And I'll literally, when I do my budget every 2 weeks, I'll take a chunk out, half of the therapy session, take the other chunk out, the second half, and just prioritize my therapy session once a month. So that was how I started doing it while I was single. And during that time, my therapist helped me process, my father, my relationship with him. She helped me just get into the habit of expressing myself on a more consistent basis, yes. But also one thing that she really helped me unpack was a lot of fears and or, thoughts or worries that came to the surface after watching my parents' relationship. And she helped me identify them so that when I got married, I was able to be aware of them, be mindful of them, rebuke them in the name of Jesus, okay? And it has helped me in my marriage as well. So I'm going to segue into the importance and the benefits I've seen it have in marriage. Now that Khalil and I are married, we go to therapy once a month together. And we did that our entire first year of marriage. And now we're in our second year of marriage, and we've still been doing it once a month. And it has helped tremendously. Whether we are good, whether we're going through a rough patch, like, we go to therapy no matter what. One way I've really seen it benefit our relationship was, especially like those first couple months when I had first moved to Memphis, I was feeling very kind of isolated. Like, I didn't have any friends when I moved here. It was just me, Khalil, and his family. And I began to feel just super isolated because I'd be home all day working from home. And then he would come home, and if I didn't talk to him, I have no human contact. So I would often feel that urge, he comes home, I'm ready to talk. I've been by myself all day. Let's sit down, let's talk, let's chat. I want to hear about your day, all the things. But sometimes he will come home from work and be tired. And, he's been around people all day. So now he wants quiet time. And that began to become an issue for me over time. But I didn't really know what it was at first. But over time, I journaled about it, and then I'll take my journal prompts or my, journal entries to the therapy session and just be able to share in the therapy session. So I remember doing that specifically one time. We just talked it out in therapy so that it was just something that Khalil could be mindful of moving forward, and know that, yes, marriage is a work together. It's a partnership. It's something that you have to continue to learn and grow in. And for him to now know, okay, you know what, when I come home, I do gotta give a little effort and communicate and have conversations, even if I am a little tired, or just communicate, I'm a little tired, give me a couple minutes and we can chit chat, but just being able to express those things before it really becomes an issue is the biggest thing and the most important thing. If you're able to catch problems before they really become a problem, it makes life so much easier. So I highly, highly recommend, if you are a single woman, go find you a therapist, okay? Go find someone that is a trusted individual that can help you, or a spiritual mentor. But having someone who you can bounce your ideas off of, sometimes we be tripping. Sometimes, you gonna have moments where you get emotional and you not thinking straight. And that just happens. But being able to bounce your thoughts and your ideas off of someone is really going to help you in the long run. And lastly, one thing to just really avoid is suffering in silence. It does not help you if you're single, especially if you are in the habit of suffering in silence. Because when you get married, it's going to be really hard for you to then really work with your partner, because you're not going to be used to opening up and sharing how you're feeling. And you might sit up here and just let everything bottle up and then one day just explode on your partner. You want to be in the habit of opening your heart up, opening your heart to God, speaking to him, telling him how you feel. God knows we have emotions. He gave them to us. So don't be afraid to open yourself up in that way, because I know it can be scary, especially when you've been hurt in the past. But if you allow that fear of being hurt again because you've opened yourself up to stop you from opening yourself up, you are literally going to diminish the quality of your life. Hands down. The level of intimacy that you will experience in relationships will be diminished if you don't get into the habit of being vulnerable. Because the true value of a relationship is the safeness and the vulnerability that you feel with another person, whether it's a friend or a partner. So take the time. I know it's tough. I know you don't feel like it. I already know, because I don't have the time. But getting in the habit of it now is going to make it so much easier moving forward. So, anything else? Any other thoughts? Yeah, do this, because the gym won't do it all the time. Okay. You need to stop going to the gym. Sometimes you need to talk, and sometimes you just need to express yourself. And don't go get your hair done. Write down how you feel. Don't go get your nails done. Write down how you feel. You can still do that stuff, but just make sure you're taking care of yourself by expressing your emotions at the same time. All right. I think that's it. I think that's all I got for y'all today. If you haven't already seen the first few episodes or videos in this series, the Single Season Blueprint, go watch those. And like, comment, subscribe. Ask me any questions in the comments. DM me, whatever. Follow me on Instagram, all the things. So I will see y'all next week. Next week, we are talking about physical health, and we're going to talk about 2 different habits that you can do to improve your physical health while you're single, and how they will benefit you when you get married. All right. So see y'all later. Bye.